the tricky one with the staffing issues. It's interesting, as the number of years I've been doing managed services and especially now moving into the cloud, how staff and outsourcing become a very key and very sensitive issue. What happens to those technical people when the cloud takes over those functions and you outsource them out? Interestingly enough, for the private cloud, additional technical training actually may be required. If you're now bringing in and virtualizing your platform and you now have built this private cloud, your technical team may require additional training on the use of VMware and how they deliver those businesses to the services to the business. If you looked at that element alone, you may actually need to actually staff up and add in more staff if you're moving to a private. If you're moving to a public, it may be that you need to roll out that training to different people within inside the company. I mentioned earlier that maybe the finance team now are the people that authorize that additional virtual CPU, that additional gig of memory, that they're the ones that control that credit card, so it may be them that now need the training on how they actually add on those requirements. So that training and those staff, the knowledge needs to spread further within inside the organization. There is a cultural shift. Today, staff are used to just going downstairs and maybe switching on and off the computer if it's hung up or latched. They can't do that anymore. They used to just phone Harry, and Harry would be down there, and Harry would just say, oh yeah, I'll just put that CD in the drive for you and everything else. That cultural shift and that move to the cloud has changed that. You now need to plan and you need to put the processes in place to think about how you do your patching for your application updates. Who does them? How you organize it? And we're back to that change management process to ensure that they're rolled out in the correct manner across the correct teams and delivered in the right way. So that shift has to take place. That mindset has to change. And it is a different mindset. It's not the same as, just being able to touch and feel your equipment as you used to be able to do in that traditional IT service model. Now with the cloud provider, you don't see the infrastructure. You might get a tour of the odd data center here and there, but once you've done one or two, they're all the same. But as far as that side is concerned, thereafter, it is a case of just seeing the people that handle and manage the service. So you need to have that change in mindset as far as the staffing is concerned. And finally, the horrible part of this is you need to think if you do need the same number of staff to support the organization and the business as you did before. Redundancy and 2P does occur. I've seen it happen. But also, as a business, you need to think carefully on who you need to retain and who you need to keep. I have seen it with one customer where they made everybody redundant and then they invited us in to help them move to the cloud, which was an interesting way of doing it because, strange enough, they didn't want to help us afterwards because they'd all been made redundant. So maintaining that knowledge within inside your organization on how your business runs, it's not so much about how the infrastructure underneath works, it's more important on how that business application works, what it does, how you get that feed in from the external side, how you deliver the reports to the management. So it's essential that you retain the right staff.